Hi guys, welcome to my sports world once again, Monday, and we are here looking back at the game that was played last night on live on TV. Packers versus 49ers. I really thought that we were going to win this game, but, and here is the big but. What we have seen in the first two games, the trend that we saw against Lions and Eagles are continuing against the Packers. And for all we know, it will continue the rest of the season. Let me put it like this. The way we play the games right now, and the way we're set up, and the way the play calling is being done, the way clock management is being done, the way we do things on offense, the way we do things on defense will affect us going forward. This is why we will not reach the playoff this year. And we won't. We won't reach the playoff this year. I'll be the first one to say it. I'll be the first one to go online with an official statement and say 2021-22, the 49ers will not hit or go further to go to the playoffs. Here's why. Right now we are 2-1, and we just finished week number 3. Next week we are playing Seahawks. The week after that we are playing the Cardinals, and then we go into week 6 and a bye week. Why will we not go to the playoffs? Well, if you look at how Kyle Shanahan is misguiding and mismanaging this team, and how poor the replacement of Robert Saleh has been, and this is even coming from someone who thinks that our defense is the strongest point. We're going to lose against Seahawks because the way we're playing right now, the way we're being managed, the way things are being called, we are going to lose against the Seahawks. So that's another loss. The week after, we're meeting Cardinals in Arizona. Definitely loss, because the way the Cardinals are playing right now, we don't have a chance. Then we're going to go and meet Colts. We're going to be a win for us. We're going to meet the Bears, which we're going to win. Then we're meeting Cardinals again in week 9. Another loss. We're going to meet the Rams in week 10. That patch right there, those two games are going to be tough. Another loss. Jaguars in week 11. We're going to win that one. Then we meet the Vikings in week 12, and they are in super shape this year, and they're just steamrolling over teams. So another loss against the Vikings. We're going to meet the Seahawks again after that. Another loss. Then we're going to meet the Bengals and Falcons in week 13-14. That's going to be 2 wins. And then we meet Titans. And let me tell you, you don't want to meet, if you want to play Titans, here's the thing. If you want to meet the Titans and play the Titans, you want to do that early on in the season. As the season prolongs and the season goes on, Titan becomes better and better. Titans have shown that over the last few years. Rabel is a really good coach. He's a coach that I wanted to come to the 49ers, not Kyle Shanahan. So we're going to lose against the Titans, because it is in Nashville, I think. Then we meet Texans in week 17. That's a win. And then we meet Rams, the last game of the year, last games of the season. We meet Rams, which is going to be a loss. So in the next games, loss, loss, win, win, loss, loss, win, loss, loss, win, win, loss, win, loss. That will take us to an 8-9. 8-9. Not good. We are not going to be ahead of Cardinals. We're not going to be ahead of the Rams. I think we're going to struggle to be ahead of the Seahawks. We're not going to win our division. We're not going to be number 2 in our division. We're not probably not going to be number 3 in our division. We're going to be the last team in this division, NFC West. So that's why we're not going to the playoffs. The way we're playing now and the way Rams and the Cardinals are playing, yeah, no chance we have to beat Rams and the Cardinals. I don't care if people say, oh, you can't predict the game before the game is played, blah, blah, blah. Look at what we're doing. We barely squeaked by winning over the Detroit Lions. We barely won against the Eagles, and we were miles away from even though it looks close, we were miles away from winning against the Packers. It looked closer than what it was, really. And when you look at what the Cardinals are doing, they are steamrolling over teams. And they have met bigger and better competition than we have. If you look at what the Rams are doing, they're doing the same thing. They're steamrolling over teams. The Rams beat Buccaneers yesterday. Easy. They won easy. So don't even come and tell me that Shanahan's going to pull a rabbit out of the hat and start winning and go to the playoffs. Not going to happen. We're too injured. We're too poorly managed on defense. We're too poorly managed on offense. We have a play calling that are piss poor. I'm sorry to say that word, but it really is. Clock management and game management is piss poor. We have a manager or a head coach in Kyle Shanahan, who has over the years, and including 2 Super Bowls, proven that he can't manage to win. He can't manage a winning team. He can't get a team to go on to win something. Winning individual games and relying on other teams beating other teams for you so you can go to a Super Bowl is not a winning team. You are a losing team if you lose the Super Bowl. Yay, you're the runner-up. So what? No one cheers for the runner-up. Right now, with the team the way it is set up, and this is why we're losing, and this is why we can't go to the Super Bowl, this is why we can't go to the playoffs. We're losing because Kyle Shanahan is too ego-minded and too revenge-minded and too spiteful-minded to even play to the team's strength. And when I say to the team's strength, the running game. We saw it yesterday. We saw it in the 2 first games. Something is rubbing him the wrong way, and he's like, I'm just going to throw the ball. I don't care. I'm just going to throw the ball. I made some comments yesterday. Let me see. At 3-1, we were 3-1, and he chooses to throw the ball down the middle. And instead of running it, we're a running team. We have success running the ball more than any other team in the league for the last 4 years. And you're gonna go on a 3-1 to throw the ball down the middle with a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who has shown that either he hits it or he misses it. And yesterday he had a few misses and a few mistakes. And I'm sorry to say it, but another thing too is that was just one. Another one was he tried to. This was in the end zone. We could have had a touchdown on it, and it would have changed the whole thing. He threw the ball, tried to throw the ball to Kittle. It was, he missed it, dropped it. It was patted down or something. 5 feet to the right, Brandon Ayuk wide open. You can run a dump truck down there, wide open, no coverage. And you're being told to look for Kittle. I mean, if you look at the game yesterday, we had already lost this game in the first quarter. You don't give Rodgers and Adams and Jones that much freedom to roam around and do whatever they freaking want. Jones toyed with our defense when it came to running. We had our defense this year. Let me put it like this. Let me do this first. I'll come back to the defense. Jones played with us on the ground. Adams and Rodgers toyed with us, ripped us apart in the air. We were never in this game. If you think we were in this game, you're delusional. Our defense, when it comes to stopping the air assault and the air invasion, it is poor. It's really poor. We don't even have good corners. and the ones we have, they're getting hurt or they're making mistakes. That Emmanuel Mosley penalty could have been avoided. It was a stupid decision, just like Fred Warner's was. And there was a few others. K1 Williams really got burnt badly. Lenore is, I think his name is. He got burnt. We are and we're in such a bad place in the secondary. We're such a bad team in the secondary. Maybe one of the worst. Maybe one of the worst, I want to say. And on top of that, our defense this year is almost like a switch. Boom, 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 boom. On, off, on, off, on, off. We have some good plays, which we're stifling and stopping every offense that are coming, and we're doing really good. And the next play, boom, off. And they run up through the middle for 10, 15, 20, 25 yards with Jones. On and off, on and off. Our defense is not consistent. Our defense looks different. Let me put it like this. There's a huge difference between DeMeco Ryan's defense and Robert Saleh's defense. Two very different defenses. Under Saleh, you could see the anger, you could see the aggression, you could see the offensive stand that the defense took. And it was a sport in stopping people. It was a sport. It was like a personal honor to really inflict pain on the attacking opponent. This year, we're passive. We're soft. There's only like one or two that are really taking it to a certain degree of what it used to be. And even those are soft. We have a softer defense that we have had. We have a worse defense than we have had. And sometimes it shows up and sometimes it don't. That's why we get these results. That's why the Detroit Lions can come back in the last 3 minutes of the game and almost beat us when we have a 24-point lead. The offense are not helping the defense. Yesterday, we had the defense on the field way too long and way too often because the offense couldn't do their job. And the offense is all about Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan runs the offense, and if he can't run that properly and you have to put your defense back on a minute later than they just walked off, then you have a problem. Our defense gets tired. We're not as consistent as we used to be. We're passive and we're soft. Our defense is soft. You can see it on how we're tackling and how we're running and how we are trying to stop these players from scoring on us. We're soft. We're bad. And we're on and off. And it's like we make a good play and then we get complacent within the next game or the next play right after. And we get softy and we fall asleep on it. And it just looks so disorganized. It's really, really a weird scenario to watch. And I saw it against the Detroit Lions, I saw it against the Eagles, and I saw it yesterday. This defense is not even close to what Robert Saleh had. And you can see it because Robert Saleh's emotions and involvement on the sideline totally different than DeMeco Ryan's. Saleh was showing emotions and aggression and anger and involvement. DeMeco Ryan is standing there with his arms like this or his finger in front of his face and looks like a little puppy. That's the difference, and that's how different our defense is. Offense, our offense is god awful and pity. It's some of the worst I've seen, except for last year. Last year it was even worse, but this year it's really bad because we have most of our offensive starters. We can't seem to score unless we get scored on. We can't go down and score the first, even if it's just a freaking field goal. The first drive we're doing are 3 and out because Kyle is calling for a deep pass that is like incomplete. Then we have a deep pass that to Kittle that are being intercepted because Kittle is not fast enough. Why not use Deebo Samuel there? Why not use Ayuk on that play? At least give Garoppolo the chance to throw to someone who can catch it. Kittle is good when you can throw to him 5 yards out. He catches the ball, turns around, and try to get a yard after the catch. That's what he's good at. Stiff arming people, running through people, running around them. Kittle is not good at running downfield to catch the ball out of the air. What even possessed you to think so? The play calling in the first half from Shanahan was poor, piss poor. It shows you that he doesn't even want to. Sometimes I wonder, does he even know his team's strength? We are a run-first build team, but he wants to throw the ball 80-90% of the time. Has he forgotten how we got success and what brought us to the Super Bowl the last time? It was running the ball. And we run it quite a lot. And in the Super Bowl, he changed that up. He didn't want to run the ball. And we lost. This year, he doesn't want to run the ball. Look what happens. We lost. We barely win against Detroit Lions and the Eagles. The biggest opponent for our team is not the opponents on the other side of the field. It's Kyle. Kyle is sabotaging his own team from success. What he's doing is not bringing success. He's sabotaging each and every player. He's sabotaging the team. He's sabotaging the club. He's sabotaging the fans. And most of all, he's sabotaging himself. Like he did in the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Like he did in the Super Bowl with Garoppolo against the Chiefs. Like he did yesterday. He's sabotaging the team and he's sabotaging himself because of his ego. Because he wants to teach everyone that he can be he can be a coach and a manager or whatever you want to call it, that can make plays by throwing the ball. But how can you do that when you don't have a quarterback that are mobile enough to escape the pocket when needed and throw the ball downfield, or even when the pocket is strong and he's safe and secured? His accuracy is not that great when you start to ask him to throw 25 plus yard. Garoppolo's big strength is the throws that are 5 to 10, 15 yards, maybe 20, down the middle, or a slant out to the sides, or a screen out to the sides. Garoppolo has never been the guy you go to when you want to have a 25 plus yard downfield pass, yet alone a 40, 45, or 50 yard pass. Garoppolo is not the dude. He doesn't have the speed of the ball. We saw that yesterday when the deep pass to Kittle was intercepted. If that had been a different guy on the receiving end, maybe he could have gotten up and gotten it. But Kittle is not the right guy, and putting Garoppolo and Kittle together to throw and receive the ball when it's over 25 plus feet, you're asking for miracles, and they're not happening with Garoppolo, I tell you. We saw later in the game that we had success when we run the ball. Trey Lance running for TD. Then we had 3 or 4 plays. We had 2 plays right after each other, consecutive plays, where we run the ball. It was trickery. It was like route runnings, and it was like, you get the ball here, you run there, and we got first downs. And then all of a sudden, we were down in close to the Packers end zone, and then he wanted to start throwing again. And boom, it stopped. It stopped the whole flow. He's disrupting this team, and I'm going to say this. Kyle Shanahan is not the right choice for a 49ers team. The way it's set up now. Kyle Shanahan, I have a feeling that Kyle Shanahan would be very happy if he could go to the Vikings and manage Kirk Cousins. That's what he wants. I think this task, here's the thing. I think that the 49ers task is too big for Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't have what it takes, and he sure doesn't have the right mentality to do it, because his ego is in his way. His ego is damaging this team. His ego is damaging players because his ego is getting people hurt, and his ego is making the team lose. Another thing is, and I'm going to say this now, I have followed the 49ers since 1981. And you might say, oh, we're playing so many good games, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. We don't win. And we have more people injured than any other team. We are top 3 injured teams for the last 4 years, 5 years under Kyle Shanahan. And this is the dude that they signed for another 5 or 6 years? Good luck. And his vision for what he wants to do, if it doesn't happen this year, forget about next year. Forget about the year after. If things doesn't happen this year, you can forget about 2022, you can forget about 2023, 2024, 2025. Maybe we'll have a chance in 2026. And you might say, why? Because we gave up all these draft picks to get Trey Lance. And I don't see anything change with Trey Lance at QB, because the QB spot is not the problem. The problem is we're getting people hurt on defense and on offense, and clock mismanagement, play calling mismanagement, stupid play calling, bad play calling. Forget about it. And on top of that, we have picked up 8 to 9 guys that are essential to the team this year to help this team go to the final and the Super Bowl and win it. And those guys are way up in their 30s and late 20s. So a lot of those players only have a duration of 1 year, maybe 2. But you need next year to replenish your team with some youth and some talent. And we need talent a lot in many places. We're good stacked on offense. We're good stacked on QB. We're good stacked on running backs once Mostert comes back and stuff like that. But here's what we need. We need at least another linebacker. We need at least another safety. We need at least 2 more corners. That's 4 players right there. And on top of that, you might want to try and draft another wide receiver. So let's see. You need a wide receiver. You need a safety. And you need a couple of corners. That's 4 players. Here's the thing. You don't get good corners after round 2. Round 3 gets a little bit dicey. So you want to pick up your corners in round 1 and 2 of the draft. We don't have any picks next year in round 1 and 2. We don't have any picks the year after in round 1. I'm not sure if we even have round 2. So you see, for the next 2 or 3 years, we have depleted our draft picks. For what? For nothing. And we have, the only thing we can get some draft picks back is to draft away or trade away our best players. And that will be Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, and maybe Kittle. Those are the 3 we have that we can trade away. But then you're making your team weaker on every level. You trade away Fred Warner, goodbye any chance for the next few years to get to the Super Bowl. You trade away Nick Bosa, bye-bye. You trade away Kittle, who is a big part in blocking and power plays and getting you some kind of things when you need it. Forget about it. Any of those 3 getting traded, you're setting you up for an even bigger failure, because it doesn't automatically say, okay, I trade these away, I get 2 draft picks, a first and a second, or something like that. It doesn't mean that draft class have the same quality of players as the ones you drafted away. So you might end up weaker than what you were than you was. This whole management of this club, and this I don't know how much impact John Lynch had on this, but probably quite a bit. I want to say I like John Lynch. I think he's been doing a good job, but not in this last draft. Both him and Shanahan screwed up, and for Jed York to approve that is really bad, really bad. So for the next 3 or 4 years, bye bye playoffs, bye bye Super Bowl. We have spent draft picks and money like a drunken sailor for the last 2 years, and with the injuries that are coming now, and with the bad play calling that we have, no, not gonna happen. The game yet last night was very, very telling. It was it showed that the first two was not a bad fluke or a bad trend. It is a bad trend that is keep going on, and like I said, we're gonna end up as an 8 and 9 team, and we're gonna be the fourth. We're gonna be the worst team in the NFC West, and we're gonna end up in total as 8 and 9. And you know what? We're probably gonna end up being the number, maybe the 6 or 7 worst team in the NFL this year, and that means that we normally would have picked as number 6 or 7 in the draft. That's bye-bye. Those draft picks are gone. We won't even have anything to do with that. I don't think we even have a second round draft pick next year. The first time we pick next year is the 3rd round. Late 3rd round. We are screwed. Kyle Shanahan has screwed the 49ers out of any possible Super Bowl for the next 3 or 4 years at least, maybe even 5. We won't even be close to close down the gap between us, the Rams, the Cardinals. I want to say the 2 teams that are really screwed are the Seahawks and the 49ers. We're somewhere in the same boat. We will not be able to close down the gap between us and the Cardinals and the Rams. And if you can't do that, there's no way of getting out of this division and go to the playoffs. It doesn't matter because we are so screwed. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but this is not going to be any better. Next week we're going to lose against the Seahawks. The week after we're going to lose against the Cardinals. Then we're going to a bye week, and we're going to sit there and scratch our head and think, what the heck went wrong? And then we're going to come back, and we're going to get a win from the Colts and a win from the Bears, and we get this false security blanket again, and then boom, Cardinals comes back and rams us. Boom, the week after, the Rams comes and rams us, literally. And then we're standing there going like, what the heck just happened? And then we get Jags, we win, we get all rounded up again, and then boom, 2 more losses against the Vikings and the Seahawks. And by then the season is over. I mean the season is over. If we go to the bye week with 2 more losses, we're 2 and 1 now, and 2 more losses are going to put us at 2 and 3. If we go to the bye week in week 6 with a 2 and 3, we're done. We're done. There's no way coming back. Kyle Shanahan has proven for the last few years that he can't do it. He can't do it. And with all the injuries we have now, and there's going to be more of them. It's going to be more of them. Come Seahawks game, it's a tough physical battle. There's going to be injuries. Come Cardinals game, we've been scrambling for guys to get out on the street like we did last year, and we are this far away from being just as bad as we were last year. You don't believe me? We get a couple of more injuries. Let's say we get an injury to Kittle and Debo. Where are we? Where are we? We have Sherfield and Ayuk and Dwelly. Don't even come and tell me that that's the same as having them other. And if you get one or two more injuries on defense, we're already screwed. So what's the point, you know? 3 games in, and all hope of a Super Bowl or playoffs are gone. You want to bet against me? Contact me, because we're not going to beat the Cardinals and the Rams in this division. And only 2 teams from this division goes through. It's going to be the Cardinals. It's going to be the Rams. First seed, Rams. Second seed, Cardinals. The Seahawks and the 49ers, we're going to be fighting for honor and crumbles and breadcrumbs. And Seahawks are going to win that one. So you see, this Shanahan experiment is no experiment.